We are live. If I can get this thing off. Bam! There we are. How are we doing tonight? I'll start with Selena. I know how T's doing still.
I'm tired. So good though. I'm here.
We are here.
That's all that matters. I'm here.
We got.
I'm still in recovery.
Yeah, that's a rough one. We're gonna get into it. That's a rough one. I'm right now having some false hope that my Dolphins might actually be a professional football team, as they got the Buffalo Bills tied up on the road here on Thursday Night Football. So we actually found Tyreek.
It's a pretty ideal opportunity for them, right? Because Buffalo has Milano out and Ed Oliver out, so some of the stalwarts of Buffalo's defense aren't there. So you got a better chance to establish. Well, I mean, it's the third quarter now, but a better chance to get your running game going. And I somewhat selfishly say that because I hope that means somewhat Jalen Wright. But legit though, the middle of that defense should be hurting without Milano and Ed Oliver. So.
I don't know if Jalen Wright's back yet, or if he is, he's right now. They got Ollie Gordon, the third, running the ball for him when Achan's out. The rookie coming in, so he's a big boy who's got some wheels on him. He's been running pretty good. But we might have Hammer in here to talk the Tennessee game. But I say we just we get right on into it. T. Same old news, man. I don't know how many times they said, "Hey, it's a 60-minute ball game," and it was there for the taking. I thought y'all were gonna take it away pretty easy there. The last drive caught Kirby, I think, honestly, at I don't want to say his worst, but not at his best on that last drive. Didn't manage the clock very well. Had 2 third downs, I believe, where you could get the defense off the field, have a chance to get the ball back and go down and score instead of letting Tennessee kick the potential game-winning field goal. Didn't call timeouts. Tennessee dialed up a good play every single time. And, outside of the penalty, when you try to get one more play in on the false start, Heupel was in his bag on that last drive. And the O-line, y'all talk about the trenches in the run game, was dominating most of the game. In my view, outside of the second and maybe part of the third quarter, Tennessee outplayed Georgia. But we know how the outcome was. How are you feeling about it? How do you think the team moves forward and gets on to the rest of the SEC play after this weekend?
Yeah, I was really surprised Kirby was not using his timeouts. That shocked me. I'm all over the place with this game. There's lots of it that is encouraging. And then, obviously the end state of it is super disappointing. I don't know if he panicked after we got that false start. The false start was insanely frustrating because, you don't really need to be blowing off the line. We're literally just trying to position to get Max Gilbert comfortable for the kick. So there's no need for you to just super fire off the line and get a push and all that. So that was a frustrating play. But it happens. But I thought we had enough time to go ahead and reposition or call a timeout because that false start clearly got in his head. And I think he was already in his head anyway because you could tell the way we were running that drive that everything was being set up for the kick. We weren't even trying to score a touchdown. And so for the last however long that drive was, Max Gilbert already knew. And who was the sideline reporter? It was Holly Rowe, right? She's like, yeah, he's kind of down here kicking. And she didn't say it, but you could tell she was like, man, this dude is nervous, man. So
she kept talking about his breathing habits. He's taking deep breaths. And anytime you see the kicker out on the field and then sprint back when he got a timeout to get a couple more kicks in and they zoomed in on his face, he did not look like it reminded me of Ohio State in the game against Georgia on New Year's, where that kicker went out there and you could tell he wanted no part of that kick. He did not want to be out there doing it. I will say impressive that he comes back and knocks it through in overtime right afterwards. But yeah. I too thought y'all should have run another play, whether it was position or just kind of get a little closer. I don't know if that 5 yards would have mattered. That thing faded right.
No, it wouldn't have. That was more of his mindset thing than. But I also don't think he kicks it like that if we don't get the penalty, because then things are still more in sync. And a penalty is like now he's like, dang, I'm 5 yards further back, thinking 27 more seconds to think about how much pressure this is and all that kind of stuff. So, but like you can blame it on him, but then obviously you can't blame it on him. So I was very wrong about having Redmond and Hood out there not impacting us. Redmond in particular. Now I'll tell you this, I rock with him for sure. Remember how we talked about that UNC corner? They were who was it? TCU. They were picking on him and he looked like it. I thought Redmond looked like he was maintaining his confidence. He was still fighting every play. And now it's time to either grow or shrink from it. And I think he's going to grow. And that I think getting thrown into the fire like that is something that's going to forge something good out of him. He also was in pretty good position often. Like they were throwing at him very frequently. And he was about right there. Gunnar Stockton, like to his credit, was making incredible throws. And then that one, the wheel route for the touchdown.
I think it was a wheel or slot fade, whatever it was. But was he in coverage on that one? Was he on coverage on that one? Yeah, that was a beautiful ball, man.
Beautiful ball, beautiful catch. And as a corner, when you're inside leverage, that's what you want them to do. The hardest throw is an over the outside shoulder and catch. So he was in phase. He had contact with the receiver. Like there's literally nothing else that you can do. It's a perfect ball, perfect pitch and catch. So you got to tip your hat off to them. But missing Gibson and McCoy hurt us a little more than I thought it would. But I like what that means for us down the line. And I was proud of Redmond because he the moment never looked too big for him throughout the time. I like this. Our linebackers played well. And I was listening to it on the radio. Their toes are at 4 yards instead of 5, and even though that's only 1 yard, that makes a big difference in getting you caught up in some of the garbage. And a lot of times, some of their bigger runs were just going to the outside. It wasn't a whole lot of tackle breaking and stuff. It was just they had space. We were having a hard time getting funneling inside out because our guys were having to navigate through some of the trash in there from the hog molly. So, Arian Carter, I think, still ended up with like 13 tackles or something. So I was really impressed with our front four, particularly with us, missing some of our key guys up there. I thought besides that first drive in the second half, where they just ran the ball every single play for like 15 plays, I was really impressed. And so that was the one where it was the fade route or the corner route or whatever it was that they scored the touchdown. I was a little frustrated with that one because I didn't think we needed to go cover 0 and try to get a blitz. I thought we were doing a decent job of getting pressure just organically. And knowing that they had been coming at Redmond all game, I think I would have liked to have seen some safety help there for him. I
wonder if they really believed that he was actually going to throw that. If it was more like a run blitz type thing, they just was like selling on the run. Because I didn't. That one you think. That's a ballsy call on. You do have 3 timeouts, but you saw the way the offense just went down the field when they got the ball back. So I don't know if that was Kirby and Bobo not trusting that y'all can get a stop. We just got to take a shot here. But I was surprised I was like, there's no way. Especially they had been running the ball pretty well in the second half, like you just mentioned. There's no way they take that shot. Low percentage play, but man, it worked out because that was a hell of a ball.
It was. And then I'm saying I'd like to see Redmond with some safety help, but again, he did force them to make a perfect throw and catch, and they just did it. And like they teach us in the Marine Corps all the time, the enemy has a say too, and so that was just they had their say there. Offensively, though, I would like to pat myself on the back because I've been championing Brazel since the preseason that I've been looking for a lot for him, and
Dude
he
is
showed
special,
out.
man.
Yeah,
Special.
Brazel showed out. So here's the thing, man. Like Joey's stats look good, but that to me that was more Brazel making it happen than Joey. Kind of like back when Baltimore won the Super Bowl. And they gave Joe Flacco the MVP, but Anquan Bolden was literally catching the ball over people. Brazel was making that happen more, I thought. Some of those throws from Joey, I wasn't a huge fan of. I was texting us. I was like, but he is 6'5". But it's not like he was catching it up here. You know, like he was like bodying the corners for it. So I'm still a little iffy on the throws, but hey, if you got a guy who will find a way to make it happen, cool. I still love Joey's mentality and I love his fit with the offense. I think we're seeing how the running back room is shaking out. I think Peyton Lewis is number 3 again. I thought they showed that they trust Star Thomas just as much, if even more than Bishop, because they had him in on those key drives at the end of the game. But I think Bishop and Star Thomas are fairly interchangeable. Star might have a little more shift to him, but I think they trust them both. And Peyton Lewis will get kind of like the third man carries. Love what the running game was able to do. Love what the receiving game was able to do. Not too many complaints on the offensive side. I thought the O-line held up pretty well. So, I mean, you know, everything is still in front of us, man. My senior season, when we won our conference championship, we lost our first conference game, and then we won out the rest of the conference, and we still got the ring. So I'm not saying that's what Tennessee will do, but it's still in front of them. Nothing is over yet. The playoffs are still attainable. SEC championship is still attainable. You know, it's all a matter of how we're going to be able to dig in and bounce back. You know, we play UAB this weekend, so we might beat them worse than we did ETSU. And I think a lot of Tennessee hopes that we do, because Trent Dilfer left a pretty sour taste in the mouth of Middle Tennessee.
Yeah.
Because he was a private school coach, and he was coaching from. So I think a lot of Middle Tennessee would like to see him get mollywopped. But yeah, man, that game really hurt, and I knew once we had to kick a field goal in overtime that was the ball game.
The whole building. I mean, just you could feel the air just getting sucked out of it on that missed kick, and then you got to go into overtime, and then you get the ball back right away. That's tough for your offense to go back out there when you just got no more momentum. But I will say, taking all like the Kentucky bias aside, which if you weren't on Twitter and you weren't such a good friend of mine, I would have absolutely got way louder than that one tweet.
You still got under my skin. You still got under my skin.
And I wouldn't have cared about the repercussions that may be coming in a couple weeks. I would not have cared, just because of how loud y'all got in that Sweet 16 game. Yeah, I mean, and to taking all the bias out of it, all the Tennessee hate out of it, it took a special play by Gunnar Stockton and a missed field goal that could have won the game for y'all to lose it. So if I'm a Tennessee fan, I can't I'm bummed out that we lost, but I'm still looking at the schedule going, I don't know if there's a team that I'm playing the rest of the year. It's going to be as good as Georgia, or get lucky and miss a kicker. The only thing you got to look at is, so like for Georgia, this is a dangerous win, right? Because there was a lot of bad out there for Georgia, but you got to win, right? So it kind of masks all that bad. So Kirby's got to go and try to find a way to be like, hey, we got lucky, boys. There's some things we got to work on. For Tennessee, you look at this and go, hopefully the locker room can look at it and go, hey, let's galvanize. We got the boys. We got a way to win this game. We are still top of the SEC. And don't let it absolutely traumatize you. Where dang man, that was our chance to come out on top. Like you and Hammer mentioned, potentially the last time y'all have a yearly matchup in the SEC. This was our time to take the title in this rivalry and carry on that bragging rights for a while. So now you just got to hope Heupel and the boys can just kind of get it together and be like, hey, it is what it is. The one thing I think your kicker handled it well. I saw his post game stuff and the things on Twitter. He took all the blame. He was like, it is what it is. I'll get back in the facility and kick away, and I'll be ready next time. So I think he handled it well. I think the coaching staff and the players handled it well afterwards. Joey, that dude, man, he's everything you want in a quarterback. I think you got to be happy that you have him. And I was on the opposite. I love those balls he was throwing, man, because if I have a guy like Brazel and I just trust that my guy's better than your guy, and like the savvy play that he'd had, like I know people on Twitter and they even said on the broadcast, they brought up that potential OPI off that, kind of push off the shoulder pad, but he didn't extend. He just used leverage and got over top. That's just a savvy play. He's special. And, if I'm one-on-one coverage, I'm chucking it to him. The only thing, Kirby kind of baited him in that play right before halftime to throw it deep because he dropped that safety back and he was like, hey, I know Joey's going to chuck this thing, so let me see if I can get him off the field.
Yeah, and that one is just – remember the one at ETSU he threw and Mike Matthews went over like 3 dudes and they just kept replaying that one over and over again. And I'm like, that worked because we played ETSU. But when we play Georgia or Florida or Bama or whoever, it's probably not going to work out. And that's what happened. But I think with Joey, you kind of like with Brett Favre, you take that, right? Like, and I think his goods still outweigh the bads. And so I'm rocking with Joey. I'll say what I said last week. He does not have the arm talent to be trying to throw a 9 route off his back foot. Like it's just he's like, he's a good college quarterback, but he's not he doesn't have the arm strength of Milton or Flacco or Vic or something. So that one got picked.
He's not out here on the West Coast getting his entire coaching staff fired, man.
Correct.
In a bad way.
I think all 100% of or at least 99.9 of Tennessee's fan base has to feel like we won that trade. So I feel for what was it, Deshaun? What's that dude? What was that coach's name?
I forget. Yeah, former NFL guy too, but he started off bad. I remember his opening press conference. It was not good. Yeah,
they nailed him still on the radio. Yeah. They're like he's a moron.
He's not good, not good. Selena, we've just kind of just ranting, going back and forth here. I know you were busy doing your band stuff. Did you catch any of the Tennessee game? Any of the highlights? Any?
A little bit. Not much. I think it was on while I was in the middle of a car wash, to be fair. So I was like, oh, look, Tennessee might win. And then they lost. And I literally was like, what the I think that was my response, was how the
Yeah. That was
I thought Tennessee had control of the game most of the game. That seemed like to me. It seemed like they controlled the narrative majority of the game. Maybe I'm wrong.
There was, they in football talk about the middle 8, right? And that was kind of back and forth, like the way Tennessee ended the first half. I would think that Georgia won the middle 8, but they responded pretty well. You're going up at halftime. You were 21-7. I think you were 21-17 at halftime, so you're still at home with the lead, but you could tell Tennessee fans were having a little PTSD, like, man, we've been here before. But then, in the fourth quarter, again, it was right back to how you guys looked in the first quarter, and we're dominating the line of scrimmage and whatnot. But surprising loss. I think if you were watching the game in that fourth quarter, you thought they were going to bring it home. And golly, the fans, you could just see them on the TV copy. There was one girl talking to, I don't know, some guy, boyfriend, whatever, to the right, and he was talking. She looks at him, she goes, "Shut up! Like, don't jinx it." You could see it on the TV, like, do not jinx it. Too late. It was already out there.
I had some people hit me up on Twitter, and I was like, I will not be comfortable until this game is over. Period. And I think one that most of us as fans point to, and I think I put it in our group text after we got the strip sack fumble. And it was just 3 straight run plays. And I was like, man, that's the time to try to put your foot on their throat. So I thought we got a little passive there. But generally speaking, I was pretty happy with the way the game was coached and the plays that were called. And even though Georgia put up a lot of points, I had no beef with Tim Banks. Like he gets a lot of grief from Tennessee fans. I thought he had the defense playing well. Georgia, again, they have a say. But I thought he had our guys in good positions, and that's really all you can do as a coach. And then from there, it takes the player to make the play. I was
Tua, you idiot.
I was pleased with how they called the game, except for after that strip sack. All right, I'm delayed, so I'm gonna find out what you're talking about here. In the
I didn't mean to interrupt you. God, that just solidified. God, he sucked, man. I just gave my hopes up. He's a one-read quarterback, man. One-read quarter. Oh my goodness. Okay, whatever. Game over. 3 minutes left. We just threw a pick, and we got 2 timeouts. And you're not going to stop Josh Allen right now. All right. Well, let's transition. How about any of the Kentucky games, Lane? Were you able to?
So I went and watched it afterwards. I didn't watch it the day.
Yeah, I watched
obviously. I was at a concert at that point. I like Cutter as a QB, at least against Eastern Michigan. It felt like the offense flowed better. And he really likes his tight ends, which I loved that. Now, did he make every throw? No, he didn't. But he did make some throws where I was like, oh, okay.
Correct.
Okay. Right. So, I think the offense flowed better. Defense looked good. Obviously, I don't think they should have scored, 23 points, but that's.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was some charity snaps going on in that game. Some players that you're not going to see out there getting as many reps when we line up against South Carolina in South Carolina. But I mean, there was some definite broken plays there that you would like to not see. But on Cutter, I mean, you look at his stats: 12 for 21. That doesn't that's not great, but 12 for 21 for 240 yards. So quick math, that's 20 yards a reception there. 184 QBR. So I mean, you're talking about he had 7 throws that went 20 or more yards down the field.
Yes.
We weren't getting that before he got in the game.
No.
He was not. The offense did. I mean, just all in all, it looked different. Now, it could have been because of Eastern Michigan, but you saw receivers blocking downfield. The O-line has been playing well. But all in all, like you said, it flowed better. And he's not afraid to cut it loose. Some of these throws, like T was talking about with Joey Aguilar, you look at him, you're like, that's a I trust my guy type throw, 50-50 ball, maybe even less. But where he was putting them, especially to
Willie,
to the tight ends. Yeah, the tight ends. I will let me see if I can pull this up. There's a couple of these plays that
he had one to Willie at the beginning of the game. I was like,
Calzada has thrown it 3 times 20 yards down the field. Yeah. 3. And Cutter had 7 in his first game. Again, everybody's going to be like, but who were they playing? And you're right. But the fact that we saw those things and the coverage was tight, and he still made the throw and was able to make it happen. But let me see if I can.
Yeah, he had one to I think it was Willie that only I don't even know. Like I don't know how he got to where he got it, because I think Willie was in triple coverage when he threw it, and he just happened to float it up to where. It was over Willie's shoulder, and then he had to put a hands up to get it. I was like, Willie missed that. And
check this ball out. Can y'all see that?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
So that's Caddis. That's Caddis. And then the very next play, the very next play is the Willie play you're talking about. Let me find it down here. I think this is it right here, right down the seam.
Eagles are going to run.
Bam, right there. And then the one that I really, really liked, this was to Gilmore, I believe. Watch this ball.
Can't imagine he's happy about the rain coming down. Lots of
time. Afraid to get out there. That's in coverage too. Like that has to be a perfectly thrown ball, or either broken up or intercepted.
Lofts it to the corner.
That's just – those are just plays that Zach wasn't willing to make, right? Those were throws he was just not willing to make. Those tight coverage throws, he's sitting on it too long, and we weren't going to get just – you got to find a way to have some sort of explosive offense, just especially when we're going to rely on the run game. You have to be able to take those shots, right? And they may not always work, but that's okay. It's just the threat that it's going to happen will keep the defense honest, right? And then that's why you have – I'll bring this back up – the dude who is in our backfield that is leading the SEC in touchdowns and second in the NCAA in touchdowns. So he's got 6, and one game against Toledo, one game against Eastern Michigan. But again, a lot of teams right now are playing, have one conference game, playing some scrub teams, cupcakes to kind of get warmed up before you get into like the bowels of your conference play. I look at this. There's some folks on Twitter who were, hey, Cutter, not good tape, not good enough. I don't know if he's the guy right now. I don't know. I look at it and disagree and go, there's no way you go away from him as you get ready for South Carolina after this bye week.
No, I don't think so. I think you have to keep.
I think Coach Evans prefers Cutter as well.
Yeah, I think he does too. We were talking back and forth, and it just there seems to be a different level of confidence when Cutter's in the game. I don't know, with the coaching staff, with the players, and then just with the guy slinging the ball. And that's 100% accurate. What else are we going to do? We saw what the offense looked like with Zach in there. So I appreciate him. There was pictures of Zach on the sideline every time Cutter would come back. He's there. He's being the veteran presence, like he's involved. So appreciate that. But outside of just absolute catastrophe against the Gamecocks, we got to ride Cutter for the rest of the season and hope that this gives him some snaps, some real life game reps in a very tough conference in the 5th hardest schedule in all of college football to get ready for something special next year of like a guy who you can put a team on your back. I'm sorry?
Do you think Stoops will do that though? Because I feel like Stoops has a little bit of that loyalty bug that some coaches, they bring a guy in or say, yes, guy's my starter, and then they won't go away from it even though it's shown that they should go away from him. I feel like Stoops sometimes has that a little bit.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I think hey, my job and Kentucky legacy being on the line outweighs the hey, I'm going to roll with the 7-year senior who I handpicked to come in here. I think it's like, hey, I have to give this dude a shot to potentially elevate this team and do something special. This South Carolina game is massively important to the fan base. We have been punked by Shane Beamer for the last couple years.
Yep.
And after they just lost to Vandy, which maybe Vandy is actually a good team. They definitely aren't your grandfather's Vandy. Like, they're physical. We joke on Pavia, but he's not the most talented dude.
He makes things happen though.
Yeah, and he just elevates the team. The team trusts him, right? So everybody plays up. And they're still kind of an underdog. They're still getting clowned as like, hey, you're still Vandy. One good year doesn't change that. Mm-hmm. So they're playing different. Kentucky has to look at themselves and go, hey, you're also currently a laughingstock within the SEC. Like, I hate to say it, but you have to be honest with yourself in locker room and go, yep. People think we are an automatic win whether they come to Lexington or we travel to wherever we're going. Circle this as a get right game in the SEC. We can get an easy win. So let's change that narrative and put Cutter in there and let the team elevate, right? And if he's going to take shots down the field, now you can't turn the ball over, Cutter. Like, you can't get greedy in a big SEC game and turn the ball over. But if you got one-on-one coverage and the corners to your back, throw that damn thing like he did. Like throw it and give your receiver a tight end a chance to go get it, which he did. And Caddis is showing that he's not the same dude last year who couldn't catch a cold. Like he's looking very good, and we knew Willie Rodriguez was going to be great. Now you've got to figure out how to get your wide receivers more involved, because 1 to 3 catches per wide receiver when you talk about Jamore Macklin, K-Law, Hester, Gilmore, Farrier, like, again, there's too much overall talent in the wide receiver room not to find a way to get them involved.
Yeah, no, I agree. And not only does like the fan base want to win, I think Stoops needs to really take his game serious too, though. Just because Shane has had his number and embarrassed the heck out of him the last couple of years. And
if you guys remember at the beginning of the season, now I was big on Lagway. I think he's potentially not a dude, right? He has not looked great. I was not good on Sellers. I thought Sellers was more of an athlete than a quarterback. He also has not looked great. So I'm looking at, my original prediction of we go to South Carolina and win, but we lose to Florida. I think we can legit get both of those games if we can. One, we got to get rid of the stupid penalties. We got to figure that out, and we got to figure out the goal line offense still. I really, really, really love the fact that we put Cutter under center. But we can't put Cutter under center anymore if he's going to bobble the snap. Like, come on, dude. Like, this is basic football. The advantages that putting the quarterback under center when creating angles, going hard play action, getting your running back, if you're going to hand it off, like full speed, getting downhill in the goal line, it's a massive advantage for the offense. So let's keep doing it. Let's work on getting the snap, because even after the second one, he almost bobbled that one. And we had to end up, another goal line within the red zone. Can't get a score, can't get in the end zone.
Penalties were the story of UK. It's undisciplined every year after year after year.
That's been hurt. That's been hurting us in the Hypo era as well. That's, again, I'm all in on Hypo, but that's my big beef. I feel like our teams have been fairly undisciplined, and then we always have penalties like at the perfect inopportune moment. Like every big game, some kind of penalty jacks us up. But Randall, I'm with you, man. I was petrified of Lagway. I thought he was going to take the SEC by storm, and who knows what he may do down the line. But yeah, right now that doesn't look like that's going to be happening. Sellers,
last year. Say again, Sellers?
Yeah, he was hurt.
Oh, I did. Did he get hurt in the Vandy game? I missed that part.
I think he did. Some game.
But
he was hurt.
I know he got a little banged up last year, but I thought I'll look it up. See if he's still if he's hurting.
Now, obviously it's early, but who we slept on was the guy from Texas A&M, which is interesting because he was a very similar mold of Sellers. And so, we gave Sellers all this credit, I guess, because he just came on fire so late. Maybe it was recency bias, and the TAMU guy was just kind of pretty consistent throughout the season last year. But, you were right. Coach Evans says Sellers got a concussion.
And he's questionable for the game.
Yeah, but I mean, in 2 weeks he'll probably be cleared.
Yeah,
touch protocol normally takes about a week, but I mean that's one less week of getting game reps, being on the practice field. So he's not going to particularly get better in that time frame while having a concussion. I would love to be able to say we got a big win, a needed win. Scored a lot of points over a not great Eastern Michigan team. Defense has some things to work on. Offense has some things to work on. But we have a bye week, and we have time to get ready for South Carolina. I would love to sit there and tell you that Stoops and this coaching staff are going to take advantage of the bye week and go to South Carolina and put together a good performance. Unfortunately, history says different. And every time we have a bye week, we come out and look freaking worse than we did before.
I don't know how that happened. Every
undisciplined
single time. It doesn't make any sense.
what was the stat we looked up last year? Was it 2 in like the Stoops era, 2 wins after a bye week or so? It was something absolutely ridiculous.
Stupid. Like how terrible the team is after a bye week. And it's like, that's 100% coaching at that point. Like you as a coach have to get your team better a week off. You cannot come back looking worse than when you stopped. Like, and for some reason they come back, there's no offense, the defense is slow, the penalties go up. I don't understand it. It's so frustrating. And that's partially the reason why I'm not sold on a South Carolina win, just because it's after a bye week. And we're away after. I just don't have a lot of faith in that.
All right, here we go. So
y'all got the game time
2013. Yeah, we're the night game.
10:45.
So
it's rough.
In
yeah,
2013, we were 0-2 at the bye week. 2014, 1-1. 2015, 0-1. 2016, we got a win after a bye. 2017, 0-1. 2018, we got a win. 2019, 1-1. 2020, we got a win. But then 2021, 2022, we didn't win. And then the last 2 years, we haven't won either. So
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, you're sub 500 like by a bunch after a bye week. I don't know. I'll still have faith that like, hey, Cutter getting some first team reps again for another week is only going to make him better. Hopefully, him going against this defense, which has proven to be very good, will also make him better. And we go to South Carolina, which looks like a gettable team right now, and we put together a solid performance. We win this game, and we are back in the I think we're going to be okay for the season. We lose this game, I think you lose the fan base very, very quickly for the ones that are still holding on, right? They're a lot of them already gone, right? A lot of them already gone. Let's be honest.
They never showed up, Brando.
Yeah, I mean,
they never showed up. To be fair,
I think I appreciated the crowd in the Ole Miss game. Unfortunately, we just it was close, but it didn't give them a lot to have confidence with afterwards on how we close that thing out. Yeah. Do you, Selena? You I think predicted a loss. Do you feel better now? Cutter's in. You have a game under you of watched him and say, hey, maybe he's special.
I do think we have a better chance with Cutter at QB, just because the offense does look better. It flows better. He's not afraid to make a throw that's a little iffy. South Carolina, though, after a bye week, at night, and if Sellers back, Sellers is a running QB. And for some reason, UK has always had issues with QBs that are very mobile.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of. I don't know what it is. We just mobile QB, and they usually end up running for. I think wasn't that QB recently ran for like 100-some yards on us as a QB? I feel like that was recent.
Well, I mean, Lagway ran all over us. Pavia ran all over us when we played him last year. Yeah, I mean, just recently, just coming off last year, we didn't do very well with quarterbacks who could move.
What?
Oh, that never happens.
That never happens.
That never happens.
What in the world?
Oh man, I'm super confident now.
What?
What
is happening right now?
I'm all the way in. Hey, coach knows ball. Coach knows ball.
He does know ball.
Big. That's big. So I'd be curious if he could throw in the chat why he thinks so. If it's Sellers, if it's Beamer, he was riding his high. SEC was riding his high. He was featured in the SEC doc on Netflix. Him and LSU, Brian Kelly. So he was riding his high. This was going to be the year they were competitive, and they don't look great. They didn't look great in their cupcakes, and they looked absolutely trash against Vandy. So curious what he thinks this. I do have one gripe with the coaching staff after this game, and it's been something that has been said multiple times. After every game, they talk about it. I need them to stop saying that it's difficult to run the offense, or they're still trying to figure out who the go-to wide receiver is on this freaking football team. It's got to stop because it's clear who it is. Jamori Macklin is a absolute playmaker. You throw him the ball, he catches it. He didn't have a single drop this year, and he's made catches that you would call potentially uncatchable, wouldn't go as a drop if he weren't to bring it down. You throw him the ball, he makes a massive play. The only way we were back in that Ole Miss game was because Zach actually was able to find him on the double move down, which was still a bad ball, but he still went back and got it. Should have been a touchdown, but he goes and makes a play. You have a clear number one wide receiver on this team. And I was doing some asking around of like what's going on. And I understand from what I'm hearing is potentially there wasn't a great camp. There was maybe some drops. There was maybe some disconnect with him and Zach. But when he's on the field on game day, he's making plays. So find a way to get him the football more often. You got to dial it up for him. You got to let him go win you a ball game because he's that kind of player. So stop telling me we don't have a true number one. We do have a true number one. You are deficient, coaching staff, on figuring out how to get him the football. That is the problem. No, he's not a big body guy who has a big 50-50 catch radius. You know, he's not 6'5". He's not Brazil. Like, he's not that. But he is a true number one. He proved it when he was out there at North Texas. And, you know, he was a highly recruit that went to Missouri. He's got the bloodline. He's got the skill set. Find a way to give him the football and stop telling me you don't have a true number one, because we do. And once you figure that out, I think this offense takes the next step. Like the deep shots that are constantly going to Gilmore, or we're trying to manufacture these touches for K-Law. I understand those are both great talented receivers. When you talk about using the middle of the field or being able to line him up in a way as an X or in the slot, do it and get him the football. I don't want to hear it anymore. Like it truly is frustrating. And you know what? It's got to be frustrating for him too when he's like, y'all wanted me to come back. Like you wanted me to come back to be the guy, and now you're telling me I'm not a guy. Stop. Like, no, force me the football. Let me prove it to you. Like if I was in that locker room as him, knowing the talent that I have, I'd be like, screw these bums, you know, like it would, and he's not like that. I watch him. Even when he's not getting the football, he's the first one over to congratulate Willie when he got the touchdown. Like seems to be like a true glue locker room guy. So I appreciate that he's not like super diva and getting all loud, especially nowadays when you can be, when you're getting paid. It's like, hey, you know, you're not getting me the football, I'm going to pout about it. He's not like that. So reward him for being like a guy who's great in the locker room, also a super talent, and find ways to get him 6, 7, 8 targets a game at minimum.
They won't. They didn't last year. They won't this year. And it was obvious he was the best receiver y'all had last year. So,
yeah, and I mean, I kind of get it to a point because Dane Key and Brock had like this connection. Like, and Dane Key was a big body guy. Dane Key is a Sunday wide receiver. I believe it. When he's going to come out from Nebraska, he's going to get drafted. And I think he's going to do very well in the league. But Jamori is also that kind of guy. Like he is the like we were talking about how good Tony was for Miami a couple weeks ago. Tony's still young, so maybe Tony's ceiling is higher than Jamori Macklin. But the way Jamori runs routes, the way you can line him up and just get him a little bit of space, and he's going to get you yak, and he's gonna take you know, you don't have to throw the ball 20 air yards plus down the field if you get it to with him within 5 to 7 and let him cook, right? It's frustrating to hear. It's frustrating to watch. And I can only imagine how frustrating it is for him as a guy in that locker room of like, you're telling me I'm not a number one, but you won't even let me prove it to you.
But 6, 7 targets that's a number two's amount of targets. He should have been getting 6 or 7 targets. If you're going to make Key your main guy last year, fine. You got enough plays to get him 6 or 7 targets last year. 6 or 7 with him being the number 2 and Key being the number 1. This year, 6 or 7 that's got to be a minimum. I mean, so I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying like because I saw him make a great play against Tennessee last year. So like
Mm-hmm.
I know he can make good plays. I've seen him do it.
Yeah,
But
that's
then
what he does is make highlight plays. The
even
reason
after
why
the
I
great
would
play, he
happily
only got two. I think he only got two plays against Tennessee last year, two passes. So yeah,
and he was the only bright spot in the Louisville game. Like it was every time we just needed a little bit of a spark, it was okay. Now we're going to try to get Jamori the ball, and he would give you that spark that you needed. The reason why I would say 7-8 targets is you're probably only going to ask Cutter to throw it unless you got to sling it 25, maybe 30 times tops. And if we're going to get the tight ends 3-4 targets, maybe 5 targets a game, I still want the ball to be spread around.
That's fair. That's fair because y'all are going to be
Yeah.
a running offense. So
Yes.
yeah, with only 20 something passes, yeah, but 6. So 6 would be an appropriate percentage, but he's not going to get 6. So that's the problem.
Well,
Yeah, because
no, because
I could go ahead, Selena. I'm sorry.
so your OC just says, "Oh well, we have to go look at it. We have to go look at it. We have to go look at it." After I ask what's the question? He has no answers. We have to go look at it. What? What are
Yeah,
you doing
dog.
up there in the box?
We're 3 weeks in. How much more looking you got to do, right? And not to mention
We gotta go look at
what
it.
you saw last year. I don't know. Unless my evaluation is like so wildly off, but I just the talent just explodes off the screen when you see him go after a football and make this play that you're like, most people in the country can't do this, and we have one on our team. So let's try to figure that out. I watch some of these offenses get creative in how they line up their number one target, especially if he's a not big 6'5" frame that you can just throw the ball up to. It's like, how do we get him in space? And that's what Bush Hand is supposed to be doing with all this motion and whatnot. It's supposed to be confusing the defense, but unfortunately, his motion, his shifts equal the same play consistently. It's like, give them the same look over again, but do something different off it, or give them a different look and do the same thing off it, right? Like, those are the ways you confuse the defense, and that doesn't seem to be happening. But if we can really work Dowdell and McGowan on there and get that run game started and make these play action passes open up easy for Cutter, there should be space for Jamori to get out there. And the other thing is, outside of the 8-ish targets a game, he should be seeing no less than 85% of the snaps. I see him on the sideline way too often. But yeah, that's the end of my rant there. I hear it and I'm like, golly, that's so frustrating.
Yeah. Well, we've been high on him since before last season.
Oh yeah.
We have been screaming that he's get the ball before last season even started. So yeah.
Yeah, I watched him, and I think talking about Bush Handon kind of coming from the Shanahan tree, and then I watched Jamori, and then watch Shanahan how he used Brandon Ayuk before he got hurt. Last year and then the year before he got paid. It's like, watch that film and say, Jamori, I'm going to line you up just like this, and we're going to run this play. You're going to catch the ball, and you go do something. Like, that's what he can do. But I don't know. It doesn't appear to be happening. As someone who's not in the locker room and as someone who's not connected to folks that tell me I'm wrong, that's what it seems like. But we got a bye week, and we'll hope that we can get into the South Carolina game next week on Saturday night game. It's going to be a rocking crowd, but I would love to be able to send them home with a loss. We'll see what the practice reports say and some of the highlights that come out of it, and we'll be watching, watching the media and hopefully, getting ourselves hyped up with some positive news. And I gotta imagine come next week, Monday, Cutter's listed as QB1, and we're not going through that whole freaking catastrophe like we did before the Eastern Michigan game of thinking that we're going to run like a 2 QB system or it's still a battle or whatever, as Zach gets healthy from his shoulder injury.
Yeah.
T, what time's your game this weekend?
I think we got an early one. Yeah, it's 10:45 my time, so 12:45 So
My time. Yeah.
it's UAB, like it's a game, so you got to go out there and play, but it's another one of those ones like let's come out of this healthy.
Yeah.
Let's not lose anybody to injuries.
Yeah, that's one where
important.
you want Joey and the starting O and probably the starting D on the sideline come middle of the third quarter where it's just like, all right, boys, let's go ahead and get we got enough film on this game. Let's move on to the next.
Let's get McIntyre or Merklinger some reps or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who's your follow-on game after that one?
Mississippi State.
Oh, that's right. It's gonna be
they and remember we talked about this when we were ranking the coaches. I was like, I just don't know where to put him yet because last year was his first year with Mississippi State. Wasn't his guys yet, and some of them still aren't, but he's starting to get his guys rolling in, and they are noticeably better this year, and I'll have to pay more attention to them on game week. But they're noticeably better so far this year than they were last year, and they're doing. We're going to be their whiteout game, so their gimmick game is going to be against us. We still should win that game, but Mississippi State they can get pretty rowdy down there. So, but we'll talk about that one next week.
Yep. Well, hey, we'll close with. I got to tell you. My boxing prediction on Bud Crawford absolutely whooping up on Canelo was spot on. Unanimous decision, dominated the entire fight. Was a great watch along that we had. BB was on there with us. My boys from Orlando was on there. Was a really good time. 40 million people tuned in to watch that fight. We had like 1,200 on the watch along, so I think that's the majority. We're watching it with us. If I think I'm doing that math right. But it was a good time, and Bud Crawford solidified himself as arguably the greatest boxer of all time. Definitely the best pound fighter in our generation. But was a good bout, and I was glad that Kentucky was dominant and Bud got his win there. As we get into another week. What's your realignment of the SEC right now? Who do you think is the top of the SEC and potentially going to be competing for those top two spots in the SEC championship game?
Go ahead, Selena.
I think it's LSU and Tennessee right now, to be fair. Like, I really do. Like, I think those are the best two teams that I have seen. Like, Georgia's good, don't get me wrong, but Georgia has a lot of problems to fix, I feel like, this year. And LSU was really good. We know, obviously, we watched them play Clemson and stuff. But I think Tennessee also has they have some things to figure out. But they have they have a much higher ceiling than Georgia does. Because their players are younger and they're still trying to get used to some stuff. That's what I think. But
I think kind of our usual suspects up top. I mean, I like Tennessee up there somewhere. Georgia up there, LSU, but I think we got to pay a little more attention to TAMU. Texas A&M may be sliding in. They're the ones I'm gonna keep my eye on. LSU, I still think probably has the most talent, but I'm just never going to be a Brian Kelly believer until he does it. So they're up there because they got the talent, but I'm just not sold on them, and I'm losing faith in Lane Kiffin too. I'm starting to feel like he's a little overhyped. So yeah, Coach,
we're gonna be.
Forget about them.
So I wait. No, he did not put Bama as number 2.
Vic,
Coach, come on now. You're making me less confident about your Kentucky pick here. I think LSU is the leader right now. I agree. Tennessee, Georgia, TAMU, maybe something. The team that's made the biggest jump and is someone to watch is Oklahoma. I was out.
I just remember about them. Yeah. Like, hold on.
I was out on Venables.
Yeah.
He talking about quarterbacks that we slept on. How do you say Mateer? Is how do you say his name?
Yeah, Mateer's a gamer, boy. He's a gamer.
Yeah. And I think he's either leading or at the top of Heisman polls right now. So like he's definitely showing something. And Oklahoma looks like a wildly different team they did last year. It's funny because it's a flip. Right now, Texas looks like they aren't SEC ready, and Oklahoma last year where it was SEC ready, they look like they're a team right now.
I told you they scare me. I told you that.
Yeah.
I told you they made me nervous.
Their offense is crazy. Like, that's the thing.
Yeah. I put LSU up there. Tennessee.
Was Mateer? Was he the gambling? Was Mateer the gambling guy? That's what Coach Evans was talking about.
Yeah,
he was a guy caught up with the gambling stuff.
I think I think they end up disproving that or something like that. But yeah, the people were leaking his like Cash App or Venmo account or something like that of him making some bets transactions. Yeah, so LSU, Tennessee, Georgia, and then one of TAMU, Oklahoma. I will say I won't say we're going to lose to Tennessee. All right, I'm still gonna have my win there. I would like.
You're so insane.
But listen,
man, keep going. Keep going.
If we happen to lose to Tennessee, I had picked us to lose against Florida and Texas. We're taking one of those games. I believe that because as out as Kentucky fans are, they will show up for the Florida game. And this being, Texas coming to Lexington, that's going to be a game that fans are going to go to. And if Arch doesn't figure it out, I think he's gettable. Like, he's a guy you could put pressure on and cause to make turnovers, and he just hasn't looked great. Now, maybe he flips a switch, and by the time he plays us, he's looking like a actual Manning. But right now, he's looking like he was adopted into the family, or like he's looking more like Grandpa Arch with the Aints back in the day, and not so much Peyton and Eli. So if we get this same dude, I think we can beat Texas. And if Lagway doesn't turn around and Napier is still on the hot seat, I think that's one that we can get to. And I will say, if you get a Texas, Florida, and Louisville win, I don't know what our record is, but if you take those 3 W's, I don't know how. We'll have to talk about the Stoops conversation at that point if we get those 3 W's. But those are 3 massive wins for Kentucky fans that I think might carry him a little bit. We'll see, especially if Cutter's playing well, right? What did he say? Hold on, Grandpa could ball me. Hey, yeah, he was okay, but I mean, he wasn't Peyton and Eli. I think he did turn around the Saints, but let's just say Arch ain't looking like the guy he was thought to be. But hey, we got another kind of off week for both of us. You know, you'll have something to watch. We don't. We can Kentucky fans can kind of hate watch around the league. Watch South Carolina, get some more film on them and get an accurate prediction of how we feel it's going to be when we go there. But I'm feeling good. Cutter really impressed me in his first start with a lot of weight on his shoulders. He's going to have even more weight on his shoulders going to South Carolina, but I think he's got the weight.
He's enough swag, I think, enough chip on his shoulder though to handle it.
Yeah, you saw him doing the John Wall, man. He's got
enough. He can handle that pressure though. He's got broad shoulders for a reason. He's
gonna be Reed Shepherd of Kentucky football, man. He's gonna savior. Now, you know, we didn't get a tournament win with our savior for Kentucky basketball, but we got a lot of big wins, and that's all I'm asking for. Is a couple big wins from Cutter Boley.
Yeah, no, I'm ready to see him. I'm ready to see him again.
All right, y'all. Well, I'm working with something with Coach for the South Carolina game. Holler at me, Coach. Holla. Let me know if we want to do the thing. You know, putting a little pressure on you right now, live on the X. But let us know, and we'll be back Saturday. Do a little recap Saturday. Give us an excuse to get on here, have a little happy hour cocktail, and have a good old time. We got WWE. That's what I'm gonna be locked into. The WrestlePalooza in Indy. Ready for it. Cody Rhodes making his way back. So me and J-Man are gonna be watching that. But another good one. Appreciate y'all jumping on. Hammer, I think, is still traveling in Knoxville, so he wasn't able to join us today. But maybe we get him on Saturday too, and he might need a little more time than T to recover from that loss. That might be what it was.
You see, I have not been very active on X. like
Or in
I
the
was
group
like,
chat text. You've been real
Yeah.
quiet.
yes, I have been in my feelings. So that's good though. This was therapeutic. So we're back.
We're back until y'all play Kentucky, and then you might be less back. But on that note,
y'all not gonna want to talk to me, so that's
See,
all right. I'll understand.
I don't think we're going to win, so I don't care
Yeah.
either way. I'll talk to you. What's up?
you don't believe that. You don't mean
Yeah.
that. You
Yeah.
don't mean that. You wait till we get to game day. You'll be
last
bought in.
year.
Just like you were with Ole Miss.
I gave Rando time last year. I let him come back on his own terms. I didn't say anything until he was ready to initiate conversation. So tried to extend him some grace.
Go Cats.